We're going to start chapter 13, which is all on probability and data analysis. Really important stuff that you're going to find on almost every standardized test you get. So this is called, this section is called Find Probability and Odds. And we're going to talk about the fact that those are actually quite different. So the first thing is to just define things. So when you do an experiment, and in this case, we're talking about experiments like flipping a coin or roll a number cube or later on spin a spinner and it's going to fall on a certain number. All of those are experiments. And when you do these experiments, possible results are called outcomes. So heads is an outcome, tails is an outcome, 4 is an outcome. So an event is an outcome or collection of outcomes. In other words, you're doing a series of experiments. Something like that is an event. And finally, the set of all possible outcomes is called the sample space, which is the set or the group, basically, of all possible outcomes. So for example, what is the set of all possible outcomes for flipping a coin? Heads or tails, right? That's all the possible outcome. A dog just went by, and so my dog is going nuts. All right. Lou, stop it. Lou, stop. Sorry about that. This is what happens in my house. All right. So let's look at one example. And again, I could restart, but I know you understand these things happen in your house as well. You flip a coin and you roll a number cube. So you flip a coin and you roll a number cube. So here's your coin. Could be heads or tails. You roll a number cube. Here's your cube. Could be 1, could be 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, right? That's what happens when you do those things. So how many possible outcomes in the sample space? So how many possible outcomes? In other words, what could happen in the sample space? Okay, what could happen? The experiment is what does happen, but we are asking what could happen. Well, if you flip the coin, so we're going to start with the coin, you have two outcomes. You have heads or you have tails. And then once you have that, you've got heads or tails. And I guess to try to make it clear, I should just do them another color. Then you roll your number cubes. For And for that, you can end up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and if I stretch it, 6. And tails, I could do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have 12 possible outcomes, and I'll write them out. I have heads and 1, heads and 2, heads and 3, heads and 4, heads and 5, heads and 6. And then I have tails 1, tails 2, tails 3, tails 4, tails 5, and tails 6. So I have listed all of my possible outcomes, and therefore this is my sample space, okay? I'm going to stop there because this is just a general introduction, and when I pick up, I'm going to talk about probability.